Isaac Skillman was pastor of the church here in Salem. This would have been the church cemetery originally for the church. Now it's been enlarged to a community cemetery. The first location of the church would have been just down the road direction. We're going here several miles. The second location here at near this spot, and then the third location where we left. Skillman was a native of New Jersey. He prepared for college at Hopewell. And here is another example of a man who attended school at the First Baptist Academy in America, started there by Isaac Eaton in Hopewell, New Jersey. So that man had a great influence. And let me say that these schools in the early days were associated with a local church. This was a ministry of the Hopewell Baptist Church. And it says, in the minutes of the Philadelphia Association, October 1772 is this record, Thursday morning being appointed by the First Baptist Church of this city, Philadelphia, for the ordination of Brother Isaac Skillman to the work of the ministry. It was attended with fasting and prayer and a sermon by Brother James Manning, president of Brown University. Then the person was ordained by listen to this, by John Ghano, Abel Morgan, Isaac Stell. The charge was given by Benjamin Miller. And Griffiths in his history says, call up this galaxy of names: Manning, Ghano, Morgan, Stell, Miller. Manning, Ghano, and Miller, and the candidate Skillman, natives of New Jersey. Morgan and Stell, pastors of the two oldest churches south of Rhode Island, and Morgan Edwards was then pastor of the First Baptist Church in Philadelphia. If great names and godly men ministering in divine things could call down the sanctity of the Holy One upon the person in waiting, he might be assured of the divine anointing at the hands of these. The next year, Mr. Skillman settled in Boston, 1773, pastor of the Second Baptist Church for 14 years. Resigning his charge there, he accepted the call to Salem, and that's this church, in 1790. The church grew in numbers, in resources, and in effective strength. Mr. Skillman died suddenly in 1799 and was greatly lamented, leaving the memorial of one whom the king delighted to honor. And that's this old servant of God. He was much used. He was faithful. It's interesting as you see the various resting places, all those men together. And you saw the burial site of Miller over at the Scotch Plains Church, and you see that Skillman is over here, and Ghano is out in Kentucky buried, and there's Hezekiah Smith. He's up in Massachusetts buried there, and David Jones over at the Baptist Church in the Great Valley. So these men had a great influence on the early colonies and the United States in its formation. And there was a man, Isaac Eaton. We haven't talked much about him. We will later this week. But there's a man who influenced a country, and he influenced a people. And we have been influenced indirectly by these people, but yet we're not familiar with them. Now, it's not Holmes, but it's Holme. It's H-O-L-M-E. And you've got Benjamin Holme, and you've got John Holme. They were Baptist as well. Remember, this is the old Baptist burying ground. The books, the history books, will often mention names, but they won't tell you that these were Baptist people. But these were Baptist people. They came from England, and Captain Holmes, keep wanting to put the S on it, but Captain Holme was actually a commander at one of the battles that took place over here at Quentin Bridge, and we'll pass through Quentin on the way to our next site. But he was a commander of that force for the Americans who defended this area. But this is just an example, again, of the Baptists who were not involved in the War for Independence. You know, everywhere the evidence testifies to the contrary.